Welcome to the Keep On Sharing overview. Keep On Sharing is what we call an ethical social media platform. Similar to a Facebook or Instagram, users can share fun, family-friendly content or even their businesses. The three main things that make us different from most other social media platforms is number one, we do not sell or share any user data to any third party whatsoever. This includes that we don't do any marketing or direct email marketing. Matter of fact, there are only three types of emails you can get from us. One is the invite, which we'll do today. The second one is if you've lost your password and request a password reset. And the third one is that after you're done any advertising, whether that's free advertising or paid advertising, we'll send you a report on how the advertising did. The second thing that makes us different is that we share 50% of all revenue back with the users and the people that refer them. This is really one of the main things that makes us different. What that means is even when you're on our site for even a few minutes, you might make a few cents because on the main content area, there will have been ads loaded up, just like any other social media platform. And as you're scrolling by those ads, you're getting paid for those. And the thing is, if we make money on our site because of you, you'll get paid for it. That means that even today, if you make a few cents on our site today, the other thing that happens is the people that referred you also make that. So let's say that Jim referred you and Amberly referred him and I referred Amberly, and above us all is a nonprofit charity because we are a referral network. And what that means is that everyone on our site came to our site because they were a referral, meaning that someone referred them. The top of the referral line is a separate nonprofit 501c3 charity. That means that no matter what you do on our site, you're always doing something beneficial for the community. There are two companies involved. There is the for-profit Keep On Sharing, and then there is the nonprofit Keep On Sharing Charity Foundation. The for-profit company covers all of the overhead on the nonprofit. This allows 100% of the proceeds of the nonprofit to go to other nonprofits and to people in need. One of the things that we talk about is that we have a website, we have a mobile app, we have a mobile app on the Android store. Currently, we do not have a mobile app on the iPhone store. And the only reason for that is as of right now, they take 30% of all charity money if we list our app on the iPhone store. And we simply are not going to do that at this time. The European Union is doing some changes with Apple, and if they change that position, we will list with them. We have been already approved, but we have just not listed with them. Some of the things we talk about on our site. Facebook has 73,000 engineers. They have 32,000 programmers. We have 3. And so we don't have all the bells and whistles that some of the other social media platforms have. But one of the things we say is we may not look pretty, but at least we're paying you. We talk about a little bit about the difference in the way that we pay versus other social media platforms. And we talk about that in terms of Instagram. So when Instagram first started, they had about 100,000 users. And a regular blue-collar worker, not a celebrity, not an influencer, introduced Snoop Dogg to Instagram. And Snoop Dogg invited a whole bunch of his celebrity friends, Madonnas, the Kardashians, a whole bunch of them. And Instagram went from 100,000 users to over 4 million users in about 90 days. And that was explosive. That's how that site exploded. And both the original founders of Instagram as well as Snoop Dogg have talked about the fact that Snoop Dogg was really never paid for that. And the reason is not because of any nefarious reasons. It was because of the way that most social media platforms pay users. And so, for example, if we talk about YouTube has, if you do 4,000 hours worth of content, have a minimum of 10,000 users, whatever their minimums are, what they will do is they will place ads on top of your content. And then they'll share that revenue back with you that was on your content, the revenue associated with those ads. But the challenge is even with Snoop Dogg, is that those 4 million people that came on, they weren't just looking at his content. They were looking at the content from Madonna, from all the other celebrities that he had invited. And he, of course, wasn't getting paid for that. And of course, the blue-collar worker who originally invited him was never paid for that because they're not a content creator. And that really is the big difference. We don't do our payouts based on content. We do it based on referrals. Everybody that comes to our site is a referral. And that makes it very interesting also because our site has a tendency not to quite have so much antagonistic posts about it. There's not a lot of political fighting at this point. It's really because everyone has been invited to our site by someone else. So there's a little bit of accountability to the person who invited you. So anyways, the next part I'm going to show, we're going to go through 2 more slides and talk a little bit about the exact details of how this works. So how do you make money with KOS? Ads and referrals. Everything on our site is advertising, meaning that the only way that we make money is through advertising. On our site, people post about everything from, their families, the vacation they were on, what they were eating, pretty much anything else you'd see on any other social media platform. But the advertising is what really pays everybody. It pays for everything. According to Forbes magazine, most Americans are exposed to between 4,000 and 10,000 ads each day, which is just mind-numbing if you think about it. And of course, one of the biggest offenders of that is social media platforms like Facebook. Facebook will run an ad every 2 to 5 posts, depending on which version of the platform you're on. And some of those are called what we call stealth ads. And what that means is that the actual ad looks like somebody's post, but if you drill down on it, you realize, oh my goodness, this is actually a paid advertisement. On our site, we try to be as transparent as possible. We have 8 posts and then a big red line, and that is an actual advertisement. That's one that we get paid for. And again, when we get paid, we share that revenue back with you. One of the other things is that everything on our site is what's called an impression. An impression ad is an ad that just scrolls by your screen. Impression advertising on most other social media sites run between 1 cent and 10 cents. And that means they pay between 1 and 10 cents every time that ad scrolls by. And this is not something you have to watch for 30 seconds. This is just literally an impression that scrolls by. On our site, everything costs 1 cent. Every impression costs 1 cent. What that means is that we have a lot of small mom and pop and solopreneur businesses because they can advertise for as little as $1. We talk about our estimates, and I'm going to use this as an example here. The average American spends about 2.5 hours every single day on social media, which again is a little bit mind-numbing, but that's just what it is. If you spend about 1.5 hours on our site, you'll see about 400 ads, which may seem like a lot, but if you did the same sort of thing on Facebook, you'd see about 4,000 ads. We are about 1/10 as many ads as Facebook. And each ad represents 1 cent. And why this matters is because that means an average person will spending about 1.5 hours on our site will generate about $4 in revenue. And our company splits that. 50% of that goes to Keep on Sharing. And that's what keeps our lights on. That's what covers our overhead, pays our salaries, all of our profits. That is that 50% split, or $2. The other $2 is split evenly. $1 goes to the person who's actually watching and scrolling through the posts and seeing the ads. That means that an average person who spends about 1.5 hours on our site every single day would get about $200 to $300 a year. And that no one's living on that type of money. But it's certainly more than Facebook is paying you. Facebook is not writing you a check every day. We literally are paying you every single time you're on our site. The other 50% goes to what we call the referral community. And for people who really want to make money on our site, besides getting free advertising on our site for businesses and sending people to your business, the other thing is the referral community. And I'm going to spend my last slide explaining that in detail. Referrals are everything for Keep on Sharing. That is how everyone gets here, and that's what our entire site is about. So we give the example that I invite Steve, Steve invites Charlie, Charlie invites Anthony, and Anthony invites Kathy. And the reality is that me, Steve, Charlie, and Anthony, we don't do anything. We don't make any posts. We're not content creators. We really don't do very much on the site at all. But Kathy, on the other hand, she might represent an influencer. She might represent a big charity. She might represent a business network or maybe a big business. Whatever it is, Kathy represents a lot of people. But if it wasn't for me, Steve, Charlie, Anthony, we wouldn't get to the Kathys. We talk about Kathy as an influencer for this example, maybe she's got 100,000 followers on Instagram, or maybe she's a big charity with 100,000 followers. Whatever it is, she's got 100,000 followers. And what she's going to say, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Facebook. And we want her to say, follow me on Keep on Sharing. No different than she's going to do with any other platform. And what we find is that about 1% of the people that are following her on one other platform will come and follow her on this platform. That means it's about 1,000 people generating about $1 per day per person into the network, or 1,000 people times $1 equals about $1,000 a day being generated. Now, because Kathy is the hard worker, she's the charity, she's the business network, she's the influencer, she retains 50% of that revenue, or 50% of it's called a direct referral. The other 50% go to the people that it took to get Kathy on our site. In this case, that's Anthony, Charlie, Steve, and me. And above us all is a charity, is a separate nonprofit 501c3 charity. So this means that the influencer in this example would pick up $500 a day, and the other 5 people, which is $500 divided by those 5 people, would pick up about $100 a day. That would be Anthony, Charlie, Steve, me, and again, above us all is the charity. Okay, so normally we take questions at this point, but since we're just doing an example, I'm going to explain a little bit different, some of the things that are different on our site. One is that we love pass-throughs, and pass-throughs on other social media platforms like Facebook are not really, they're frowned upon. And what I mean by that is if you just keep posting your business on Facebook or your podcast over and over again, what they're going to do is they're slowly going to stop showing that to your followers. And the reason is they're trying to keep you on their platform. The longer that they keep you on their platform, the more money they make. We're literally the opposite. We love pass-throughs. We love sending people to your website. And I'll explain why. I'm going to give you 2 examples here. The one example is, let's say that you sell candles on eBay or Etsy. And let's say you have 200 customers on eBay or on Etsy. And if you refer those 200 customers over to Etsy to buy maybe tennis rackets or something, they'll give you a very small commission that you can use primarily on their site. And that works okay, but it's never really going to make you long-term money. On our site, if you refer those exact same 200 people to our site, and you're going to refer them the same way you refer them to any other social media platform, you're going to say, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Keep on Sharing, the exact same way. If those 200 people come to our site because you told them to follow you, what's going to happen is that you're going to get paid every single time any one of those people scrolls by an ad or buys or sells anything on our site. Anything that generates revenue from our platform, from any of those people, you're going to get paid continuously. This is reoccurring income. It doesn't stop. It's always. Another example of this would be a charity. So we have a charity here that does a 24-hour walk for breast cancer. And it's a pretty big event. And so what they do is you get a team together, maybe 5 or 6 people, and you try to, each person's going to walk in a circle for a little bit, and people are going to sponsor you for how far you walk. Each person walks a couple hours, and the whole point is to walk for 24 hours for breast cancer. And we get, in this area, we get about 2,000 walkers and about 18,000 sponsors, or about 20,000 people total. And the charity does the event on a Saturday, and they make about $200,000, and that's terrific. They collect that money by Monday, and then let's say they did the event in New York. Well, now they're going to go do the event in LA, and then they're going to do the event in Texas. That's how they raise awareness and their money for breast cancer research, and that's great. And the difference here is that now it looks like they're going to be changing that and doing it through us. And the only difference is that they're going to make the exact same post like they normally do on Facebook or Instagram. It's going to say, come follow us at this event, come become sponsored, come walk for 24 hours. It's going to talk all about their event. And the only difference is they're going to do that exact same post on our site, except that when they go out and they do all of their social media posting and all of their email blasts, because we don't email them, whenever they do all their email blasts to all of their sponsors and all the people that are going to take part in the event, they're using our link. Now, our link is just going to, when people come to it, they're just going to pass through. They're going to pass through proxy. They're going to pass through and go to the charity's website. So there's no money collected on our side. All the money's collected on the charity, just like it always is. So pretty much to the end user, it pretty is very similar in nature how they did it the first time. It just goes straight to their site. But the big difference is come Monday morning. So come Monday morning, those 20,000 users are now all registered underneath the charity on our site. And not everyone's going to use our site, but any one of those 20,000 people, if they post something and they post vacation pictures or pictures of their family or what they ate or they buy or sell, if they do anything on our site whatsoever, that charity will continue to pick up reoccurring revenue from all 20,000 of those people forever. And that means that the very next time they do their event, another 20,000, next time another 20,000, next time another 20,000. Every time they do their event using our link, what's going to happen is they're going to keep adding more and more people. And they're going to say the same thing to these people. They're going to say, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on KeepOnSharing. They're going to make the same posts they always do. And the only difference is all the people that are following on Facebook, Facebook is not going to pay them. But all those followers that are following on KeepOnSharing, they're going to continue to pick up reoccurring revenue for that charity forever. That's the big difference. That's why we like pass-throughs. We want to send people to your site, to your business. And then we want you to tell your customers to follow you on KeepOnSharing, just like you tell them to follow you on Facebook. But the difference is we'll pay you for them. One of the other things that's sort of interesting about our site that's different than other sites is that every single user can give free advertising to as many businesses as they want. Each business can accept free advertising one time, but you can give out to as many businesses as you want free advertising. And what makes this interesting is not only are you giving out goodwill to them by giving them free advertising in front of our users, but it also means that when you do that, that business, as long as it already isn't on our site, that business will become registered underneath you. And that means that anybody that comes to our site because of that business or anyone they invite all becomes part of your network, which means every time any one of their followers scrolls by an ad, buys something, sells something, makes posts, whatever they do on our site, you will pick up money, reoccurring money from that user forever. And that includes anyone they invite and so on. That includes things like if you invite a charity. When you invite charities, charities love us because all they do is they don't usually spend any money on our site, but what they do is they bring all their users to follow them. And all of those users will continuously pick up and create reoccurring revenue for the charity, but also because you are the referral of that charity, all of those users will also generate revenue for you as well. Now, paid advertising takes priority over free advertising about 3 to 1. And generally, when a page loads up, there's about 4 ads. 3 of them are paid and 1 is free. There's no difference between the free ads and the pay ads. They all mix in together. But free ads take a little bit longer to process through our system. So while paid ad, maybe you do $1 or $10 worth of advertising on our site, that will go through our site maybe in a week or two, where a free ad might take maybe a month. That's the only difference between free ads and paid ads. One of the other things that's sort of fun on our site, and this is the end of my slide here, is that every single person who comes to our site makes money every single time. Every single day they come, they'll make money on our site. Why do we say that? Because even if they just come just to check how much money they made, the main content area will load up and 3 or 4 ads will be loaded, which means they'll get paid for those ads that they get loaded. And it's sort of fun it's sort of a fun thing to look because there's a little red number up top and there's a little coin up top on the site above your profile. And there's a little red number that tells you how many times you've been paid. And you'd be amazed at how many ads show up on your while you're scrolling by stuff. I mean, it is really amazing. And so you'll see a little red number for each one of those times that you've seen an ad. But you'll also see a red number added up every time one of your referrals scrolls by an ad or buys something or sells something. Anything they do on our site that also generates revenue, you'll also get paid for. Now, you won't see who it was because, again, we don't share user data whatsoever, but you will see how many times you get paid and you'll see the actual amount you get paid. And sometimes it's 1/10 of a cent, and sometimes it's a penny, maybe it's 5 cents or even 50 cents or even $1. It just depends on what it was. All right, so that's really what our site is about.